What's going on, Cardinal fans or NFL fans in general? It's TRL. And, okay, so this will be the last video on Lamb's House until free agency or maybe even the draft, because it's right around the corner. And they're honestly in our review mirrors at this point. You know, we're focused on our future while they're focused on trying to get assets for their future, which impossible for them at this point. But, I just want to give my quick thoughts on this because it's a rumor that is starting to steam up a little bit, and I just want to give my personal thoughts and opinions on if it does happen, because it's getting a lot of attention. It's something that could actually happen in the coming days or the coming weeks, whatever you want to call it, and I just want to give my thoughts in case it does happen. So, Lamb's House. It's obvious that Les Snead and Sean McVay and those guys, they're going to have to do a rebuild. I mean, even, let's be real, even Lamb fans know it. It's like, you can't tell me after starting, what did they start at the beginning of the season when they were back when they were 2-1 or 3-1. It was one of those. I can't remember off the top of my head, but back when they were at least 2-1. They finished 5-12. It's like you can't tell me that Les Snead is going to look at that roster, he's going to look at that cap space, and you can't possibly mean to tell me that he's going to look at that and say, okay, we can win with that team. It's like, no, you're going to have to do a rebuild of some sort, and part of that rebuild, or at least it's just a rumor, but part of that rumored rebuild asset is old Jalen Ramsey himself. Now, I know a lot of Cardinal fans are probably happy about this, and rightfully so, but to be completely honest, how I feel about it, I don't want Jalen Ramsey to get traded. Yeah, you heard me right. I don't want Jalen Ramsey to leave the Rams. Why? Because he deserves Lamb's House. He deserves every piece of shit season that is about to come their way. And I know everyone's probably going to be like, oh no, I want to see him if he can get a ring on a better team. No, screw that. When he signed his extension back in, 2019, 2020 maybe even earlier than that, he had that chance. And he didn't do it. And I know what people are going to say, okay, he won his ring, this and that. Okay, cool, he got his cupcake, but looking at what Lamb's House was doing when they traded for Stafford, when they traded for Ramsey, when they traded for Von Miller, it's like you can tell that they were assembling a win-now team and not a team for the future. It's like Ramsey had that opportunity to go to the front office and say, okay, if we're not going to build a team that's for the future, I don't want to be here. And, granted, he did win his cupcake, but it's like he had that opportunity. And when you look at guys like Patrick Peterson and you know what, I'll throw him in there because he's also Hall of Fame worthy. But when you look at just defensive backs in general or defenders in general that have never won a Super Bowl, that could have gone to better contending teams and actually try to compete for a title that they deserved, like idiots, they extended with their team and thought that they were going to win a Super Bowl on a team that was not Super Bowl ready. And they kept signing extensions, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out in 2015. Remember, we had the defense with Patrick Peterson, Honey Badger, and Calais Campbell, and all those guys, but we were limited at quarterback with Carson Palmer. That shit doesn't work in this league anymore. So, Ramsey, for being the dumbass that he is, his career deserves to rot in the hellhole that is Lamb's House. And I know he doesn't have that long left in his career. He's starting to look past his prime at this point, so honestly, he just deserves to stay there, in my opinion, after being the idiot he is. And may I remind you on how this scumbag did his first home in Jacksonville? I mean, why do you think Jacksonville Jaguar fans hate this guy so much? And that he's probably the best defensive athlete that they've ever had in their franchise, and they still hate this guy to death after the way he complained his way out of Jacksonville. And let's take a look at the NFC West right now. So you got Kyler Murray is by far the best quarterback in that division, and you can't really tell me otherwise. I mean, the 49ers, we don't know who they're even going to be starting next year. The Seahawks, in my opinion, I feel like Geno Smith was just a one-hit wonder, but we'll see what he does. And the Rams, Stafford doesn't have anything left in him, and Baker Mayfield isn't coming back. So, talent-wise at least, Kyler Murray is by far the best quarterback in that division. And aside from C.J. Stroud, who I think is probably going to go to Houston, or no, not C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson are pretty damn good. And if you guys don't know it already, Seattle has a top 10 pick, or a top 5 pick, whatever it is. So if they don't extend Geno, or if they do extend him but not for that much longer, or if they extend him and he stinks up the joint next season, they can honestly use their top 5 pick on Richardson, C.J. Stroud, and I think they can honestly be superstars there. I don't think they'll be as good as Kyler Murray, but I think that they can do some good shit over there in Seattle. So when you look at the NFC West, the Niners, they're in good shape right now. The only thing they have to worry about is if their team can stay healthy. That's about the only thing I would worry about if I were a Niners fan. If you're Seattle, it's kind of questionable. Do you keep Geno? Do you extend him? Do you draft a quarterback for the future? It's like, but they made the playoffs last year, so they're on a good spot right now. And when you look at the Cardinals, they actually have the chance to build for the future. They have the draft picks. They have the cap space when they start making cuts. We'll see what happens if we keep Hopkins. But if they do it the right way, they could honestly have a good future too. When you look at Lamb's house, they don't have anything. They don't have cap space. They don't have draft picks. They don't have really that much young talent. And by the way, they just cut Bobby Wagner, who they wanted to pay instead of Odell Beckham, which I find fucking hilarious. So the Rams effed up. I mean, they got their cupcake, but at the same time, they screwed up. So when you look at guys like Tariq Woolen, Kobe Bryant, guys, good defensive backs in our division that actually deserve to get a title, it's like, okay, you guys are going to be good in Seattle, but you're probably not going to win a Super Bowl there. So hopefully you guys actually make the right choice and go to a better contending team, a better contending dynasty. This asshole, however, no, you motherfucker. You stay in Lamb's house where you deserve to rot your career there. So for Lamb's house, they'll probably keep some guys. They extended Aaron Donald. They extended Cooper Kupp, so both of their careers, the rest of their careers can rot there as well. Stafford's going to stay there. And everybody else that is on a big contract making money is probably going to be gone. So, honestly, I just hope Ramsey walks up to the front office and he's like, "No, I want to stay in Lamb's house. Ram the fuck up. Throw the football towards me. I intercept the ball. I talk shit to people." I hope that's exactly what he says to Les Snead in that piece of shit front office, because that's exactly where the rest of his career deserves to rot. I hope he retires with one fluke cupcake that he has on his resume and becomes one of the most overrated players in NFL history. That is what I hope. So, I know a lot of Cardinal fans and NFC West fans want him gone and out of our division, but me, no, he deserves to stay there. He can rot there as long as he wants. Or as long as he should. But with that being said, guys, that's all I got. Like I said, that's the last video on Lamb's house until something else happens. But have a great rest of your day. See you guys in the next one. I'm gone.